Hey guys, we're going to do a crayfish dissection. I'd like you to have your lab books open to the lab for the crayfish dissection. And I've got Owen gets to dissect, and if we come back to school, I have a few more you can dissect. Don't cry. Okay, so what we have here is the ventral side, or the belly of the crayfish. You can see the swimmerets here and here. Notice they're different. The female swimmerets are all the same size, and the male swimmerets, the first two are very, very large, and then they progressively get smaller. So that's how we know. Here's a girl, and here's the boy. So you can go crayfish catching and determine, do you have female or male, and then make your own. I'm just kidding. So that's our first external view. Do we have a female or male? Well, we have one of each, female, male, and we know that because of the swimmerets. These are the walking legs, and notice, remember what we call these? The chelipeds, yes, the claws. And we have two sets of antennae, the long ones and the little ones, the antennules. Okay, that's our start, external anatomy, and the little tail part called the uropod. That's a fun one. Okay, we've got our dorsal side of our crayfish here. And we're going to identify the carapace. And so here's a carapace, and then the cervical groove, the compound eye, the cheliped we already identified, the walking legs, the abdomen, the uropod here. The middle section is called the telson, that little flipper. I know you just want to get in there and mess with it. The antennae, these are antennules, the little ones, and then the long one would be the antenna. And of course we have two pairs, antennules and then antenna. So we're going to look at the other structures here, the mouth parts. It's kind of gross looking. I know, Susanna, you're loving this. These large pieces, they're actually pretty hard if you're able to feel them. These are the maxillipeds. I'm going to show you a picture in the book as well. And then underneath the maxillipeds are the maxilla, and then we go deeper and we'll find the mandibles, and they're actually very, very hard. Can you hear that? Feels like rock. So the picture in our book, the maxillipeds, the maxilla, and the mandible. We're going to be taking these out so you can see them. All right, we're looking at our crayfish, and we're deciding, by the way, human mouth parts move up and down vertically. Crayfish mouth parts move horizontally. Owen, can you pull back the maxillipeds and show us the mouth parts a little bit better? They move horizontally, side to side. Excellent. Now, what walking legs have pinchers? Show us the walking legs that have pinchers. Look at that. More than just the first two huge claws, but we also have these walking legs. So they're actually two sets of walking legs with pinchers. Crazy, right? The uropod and telson make a powerful tail fan. What would it do? What would it do to help the crayfish? What could it do?
Help it to swim.
Yeah, it could help it swim. It actually could help it swim backwards. It's like, getting away. No, I want to get away. All right, we're going to position our scissors at the posterior end of the carapace, and we're going to cut
It's popping.
anteriorly and trying to stay superficial so that we don't damage anything. I'm not actually cutting right now. Keep coming all the way to the rostrum, so that's right between the eyes. Try to stay very superficial.
I think I see his brain.
You might end up seeing his brain. Ethan's cutting right now for you guys. I made him come do this too. Sorry you can't do it. some of you are happy. Oh, a little too deep, E. Keep
I
going.
think I just got his brain.
No, that was a blood vessel. That's okay. Keep going. Stay superficial. It's very thin. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm
You're almost
trying.
there. I'm going to fast forward this. Then we're going to cut a transverse cut just behind the eyes so that we can just take the carapace off, like opening up a wallet. You can see the carapace kind of coming apart here, separating. You're going to cut all the way down, Ethan, as far as you can.
That worked.
Yep, like that. We're just going to peel it back and expose the tissue underneath.
Gross.
Yeah. And the pink in there is a dye I've had. Okay, these are the gills. They're kind of
It doesn't rip
feathery
out.
looking.
That was a fail.
We're going to put that into that petri dish of water and observe. Ooh, look at.
I think so.
So you can put more in if you want.
Well, I failed, so.
For better handling of our crayfish, we're pulling off the legs. Ethan is really loving this part. And we're also removing the rest of the gills. You too could have had this joy. Susanna, I know you're loving this. Ooh, he got some gills with that leg. Look at that.
Oops.
It's okay. You can pull off the pinchers too, the claws. He's gonna become a chef in life. Just kidding. Okay, here we've removed the legs that are attached to the thorax. So the walking legs and the chelipeds are part of the walking legs. And the pink you can see are the blood vessel system. Remember, they have an open circulatory system. This means that the blood leaves the vessels and actually bathes the organs. So you can see how there's a lot of pink going on. But right here is the dorsal heart. It's called the mid-dorsal heart in the middle, dorsal on the back, and the heart because it's like a area where the blood, a chamber where the blood pumps through and is pumped. So we can see that right here, the mid-dorsal heart, kind of reflecting some of the tissue here to find it. See that mid-dorsal heart. I think my hand is probably in the way. Now I have a question for you. The mid-dorsal heart. Owen, maybe you can answer this. Why the crayfish actually relies on gravity to spread its nutrients and stuff throughout its body since it's an open circulatory system. So why would being on its back be lethal to the crayfish?
Because the heart is near the bottom. Gravity can't help it, so it gets the heart.
Yeah, if it's on its back, then the heart's on the bottom, so the blood's not going to go to the rest of the tissues. So can you see this dorsal heart right here? And there's that pink gooey stuff. That's what we're looking at. All right, we've removed the dorsal heart and its associated tissue. It's been injected with latex dye, so it feels very plasticky. But in the living creature, it wouldn't. This yellowish tissue right here is the gonads. And then farther down, we'll see the intestines. Sorry, I'm having trouble doing the camera. So, there you go. Looks like a bunch of messed up. Okay, so this is the stomach. And that green gland that you saw in the cahoot is right there. And the brain is up inside here between the eyes. Okay, so we've pulled the stomach back. And you can see down in here is the esophagus. Maybe you can see. I removed the stomach. You can see these lines here. These two little lines are the nerves. There's a tiny mass of white tissue, the brain in there. Maybe you can see it. Okay, we've got the brain right here. The probe is, go forward a little bit more. That tissue right there is the brain. See the strings? Those are the nerves. And you can follow the nerves running to all the sensory. Okay, we've pulled the mouth parts off. We've got the maxillipeds here. Oops. I'm moving them around. Maxilla heads, maxilla, mandible. And at the end of each dissection, you must clean up your area and throw away all of the parts. And also be sure to comment "wow" to show you watched the video, and you get a great lab grade.